there, people. It's me, just Junebug today. There's no Genesis with me. So I'm here alone. Don't worry, we're still fine. He is at work, but I want to do, Genesis has been wanting to do some solo projects, and he's had ideas, and he's like, you can do solo stuff too. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So after some thinking, I have two ideas. So today will be like a little series, is that what you call them? And I've been inspired by just my love of mystery and death, and just how horrible people can be. But then I've been inspired by the BuzzFeed Unsolved Network because I watched so much of them during quarantine. Watched all the true crime episodes. I really like the true crime episodes and not much into the paranormal. But then I also have been watching so much Kendall Rae lately. I subscribe to her. She's awesome. She's a great storyteller. Really recommend her. But just the way she tells stories, and there's so many things I haven't heard of. And then she works with Thorn, which is founded by Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore. And she just does great stuff. But she inspired me to do some stuff similar. Hopefully I don't do anything that she's already done, but it's a free platform, you can do whatever you want. So I'm doing a series, and this is going to sound brutal, from the list I found online. It's List of Murdered American Children. Sounds horrible, but it's just, there's so many, unfortunately, and I think more awareness needs to be brought to it. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I do have the mic, but I don't have a Genesis here to help me with setup, and I can't get my laptop for the life of me to show what you guys see at the moment, like my monitor. So I'm just staring at this bright light and camera, hoping everything turns out okay. Anyway, so this series I'm going in chronological order of this list I got from Wikipedia. So it's nothing special. There's tons more out there, unfortunately, just mysteries and things like that, and just death. This sounds really bad, but it's just intriguing that people can be this horrible. And I watch these videos and I cry sometimes because of how bad people are, and I'm like, why do I do this to myself? But I figured, why not be the one that tells the story this time? The buns are playing with the gate. So, nevertheless, oops, sorry about that sound. I have done my research. This isn't a huge one, but this is about the Enoch Brown School Massacre. Massacre is intense and sad. It's a sad, intense word. I hadn't heard of this until today, because I don't know if I ever learned about it in school. It's not a massive thing, although it's still horrible. So the victims are, I think it's pronounced Enoch, or it's Enoch, or Enoch. I'm going to say Enoch. Sorry if I'm butchering that. Was Enoch Brown School. So this took place July 26 of 1764. So these cases that are coming up from me in the next few weeks are all before 1900. And this case is said to be the first school shooting, at least in America. Granted, there are no guns involved in this. Much worse. And so the ages of the victims are various, although they're all school children, and the teacher. And the location, was in Franklin County, which is in Pennsylvania, and it's now where Greencastle is. If any of you know where Greencastle is. And the status of it has been solved. They know who did it. They know kind of why they did it. They found the bodies. Like, this is a solved case. So sad, but it is solved. So what it is back in 1764, way back on July 26th, there were 3 Lenape American Indians. Although I've heard 4, and then I've heard 3, but I believe it was 3 Lenape American Indians entered the school house, the little log schoolhouse where Greencastle is now. And I've also heard debates on how many students there actually were. It's not a huge varying difference. It's between 10 and 12. So it's nothing like drastic, like there was only 5 students, and another source says there's 30. It was about 10 or 12 students, and then the schoolmaster. But these American Indians came in just as school was starting in the morning session. And the teacher, who was Enoch Brown, he kind of knew what the Lenape wanted to do, and he begged for the children to be spared and just for him to be killed or taken as prisoner, because that was very common back then that scared me. Well, I guess he's not here, so it's soothing. My Junebug is still up. Where was I? Anyway, well, yes, it was common that American Indians, Native Americans, sorry if none of these things are politically correct, would take primarily white men as slaves, because they were angry with them for taking their land and for killing them. Understandable that they were angry. I just don't know if that was the proper way to go about it. I don't know. But they go into the schoolhouse, and the teacher begs for them to spare the children's lives. They don't. They kill the headmaster, the schoolmaster, not the headmaster. Oops. And he was Enoch Brown, that's why the school was named after him. And then I've heard 9 or 10. I've heard different sources. 9 or 10 students were killed as well. 2 were wounded. I've also heard 1 was wounded. That's why it differs with the death rate. And then 4 were kidnapped and were taken as prisoners. So that was the whole schoolhouse. But instead of obviously shooting, because it's considered the first school shooting, it's not guns, they were all tomahawked and scalped, which is horrible. Shooting's horrible as well, but just imagine being tomahawked and scalped to death. But it was so bad. Try not to jump around. And so Richard Middleton, a historian, says this is one of the most notorious incidents of the Pontiac War. I'm not going to get into the Pontiac War, I don't have enough information on that. But it said they did this, as I mentioned earlier, because they were angry with the white men. They're taking their land and killing their people. Here, I need to look in my notes. And then these particular Lenape were called cowards by one of their chiefs because the day previously they found a woman walking along the road, Susan King Cunningham, and they beat her, scalped her, and tore her baby out of her stomach that she was pregnant. And the chief called them cowards for going after children and pregnant women like this. And then out of anger for them and the white man, and the fact that white men had this thing, like a scalp bounty, that if you bring scalps, Native Americans, to some place to get money for it, like it was not good. Very bad relations. But they were angry, so they took it out on poor Susan King the day before, were called the cowards by their chief. It was someone really high up in the tribe. And so, as part of revenge, it was 2 older Lenape and then 1 younger one. And they just sought their revenge and put out all their anger on these children and the schoolmaster. So not good. This was obviously not a first attack on the English settlers, but it is reported to be one of the most gruesome, which is totally understandable. So there was the 1 survivor supposedly. There was 2 in another source, but it sounds like there was just the 1 boy. And he was Archie McCullough? Archie. He survived by hiding in like the fireplace. Hopefully it wasn't lit. But he survived that way. Once they left, he went down to the river, cleaned his head, because he was in fact scalped as well. I don't know how he lived, but he did. And the neighbors saw him at the stream. They took him in, and then it was hours later that local farmers noticed that the school was very quiet, and they went in and checked on them and saw the massacre that had happened. So it wasn't long before the bodies were discovered, but it took days before they were actually buried. And they buried them all together in one like wooden casket, and they were like alternating, it said, like head to toe. And it was in an unmarked grave. So 80 years later, knowing what had happened or hearing legends about it, this man, I forgot his name, I think it was Colonel Dietrich, Bruce Lake. He heard the legends of it, and he wanted to find this grave and give him a proper burial. And they found it 80 years, like to the day. Probably not to the day. And they gave him a proper burial site, and he fought to have a monument built for them, which is still standing to this day. I'm sure it's been updated or like taken care of. But they were given a proper like memorial and things like that. So that is pretty much the gist of it. I haven't seen anyone else on YouTube. I just Googled, I YouTubed the Enoch Brown school massacre. There hasn't been really anyone who's covered it. There's been a couple, but it's nothing huge. So it's not like I'm treading on someone's like videos too much. There's not a ton of covering about it. It was pretty simple. They just came in, killed the kids and the schoolmaster, and took some prisoners and left. That's pretty much what happened. Terrible, but that's pretty much what happened. But then I will link below the article that I found a lot of this information from. The other bit I found from Wikipedia. That's where I got my list from, but then I like checking it elsewhere as well. I'm taking the article's information more because I'm assuming they're more correct. And there's more history with like leading up to that with all the colonies and things like that. But that's it. Hopefully you guys like it. I'm obviously not a pro at explaining these things yet. This is my first solo video. And I didn't like practice this. I thought it would flow more easily, but then I got scared by the sign. Sorry. It's just horrible. Horrible. Anyway, before I start rambling too much, yesterday was my birthday. I'm 21 now. Woo-hoo. That's pretty much all I got going on. Living the dream. So I'll see you guys next time, and I hope you like this, or if I said any facts completely wrong, or the articles I read were straight up wrong, just feel free to let me know. I would like to know the truth, I guess, but this is a solved case, so that is at least nice to know what happened and where they are in their late